The power of faith. Take a moment to reflect on your life. In the darkest hours, when your heart is weighed down by pain, when every effort feels meaningless, and when no one else believes in you, there's still something, quiet, silent, but incredibly powerful, and that is faith. Faith doesn't have to shine brightly, it only needs to exist. Like a small flame on a cold night, it flickers gently, but it is enough to keep hope alive. So what is faith? It's not a sweet illusion. It's a way of life. It's the quiet voice inside that says, keep going, you can do this. It's trusting yourself, your dreams, and the future you're working toward. Faith can mean believing you are worthy of love, believing your effort will eventually pay off, believing that even if you move slowly, you can still go further than ever before. But faith is fragile. One harsh word, one failure, or a moment of doubt can make it shatter. That's why we need to protect it, nurture it, and most importantly, practice it. Because faith is not just an emotion. It's the fuel for action. Throughout history, faith has shaped lives and changed the world. Faith Healin. Keller, blind and deaf, became a global voice for people with disabilities. Nelson Mandela endured 27 years in prison without losing faith in freedom and justice. The senior, Steve Jobs, was fired from his own company, but his faith in innovation brought Apple back stronger than ever. The Malala Yousafzai was shot for speaking out for girls' education, but her faith in learning made her a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. Faith gives us courage. It helps us rise after we fall. It dares us to dream big and push forward when the world says, stop. But what happens when faith is lost? There's nothing more painful than doubting yourself. You question your worth. You fear failure. You shrink your dreams not because you have to, but because you've forgotten that you're capable. In those moments, remember, even the longest night eventually gives way to sunrise. Faith is the anchor in life's storm. It holds us steady. It reminds us that we've survived before, and we will again. The strongest factor for success is self-esteem. Believing you can do it. Believing you deserve it. Believing you will get it. And always remember, you're not alone. Millions of people have stood where you are now. They felt lost. They felt afraid. But they kept going because they dared to believe again. Across cultures and philosophies, faith has always been a cornerstone of resilience. In Vietnamese wisdom, there's a saying, with patience, a metal bar can be polished into a needle. It reminds us that even the impossible becomes possible with faith and persistence. From Buddhist teachings, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. The power of faith begins within. So how do we build faith, especially when it feels out of reach? Here are 5 steps to grow faith every day. 1. You're thinking instead of saying, I can't. Ask, what small step can I take right now? Your thoughts are seeds. What you plant is what will grow. 2. Take action, even small ones. Get up early. Set a goal for the day. Follow through. Each action tells your mind, I'm doing this. I'm capable. 3. Surround yourself with positivity. Stay close to people who uplift and inspire you. Energy is contagious. Choose the energy that builds you up. Practice gratitude and reflection. Write down what you're thankful for. Remember the times you overcame struggle. You've been strong before. You will be strong again. 4-5. Trust the process. Results may take time, but every step, every setback, every small win, it's all part of building your faith. Results set on by P. Exagolda First Physic Organ. The science behind faith. Etzed called in Anguid the Madelsikod, put Mat Cad, another fossil Gatu, and Lak Gan Belbringit. What are this neuroplasticity aspect? This all around, there's a more we feed our minds with empowering beliefs, the point populars research on growth mindset come out who believe their abilities can improve over time are more resilient, motivated, and successful. Features of its often be failure. Moreover is another example of the power of faith. Clinical trials, patients given walk pills but told they were receiving real medication, often reported in patterns, purely because they believed in the treatment. called bread-brilling and motivation, learning and value. When you believe something is possible, your brain begins to align your behavior with that vision. It prepares your body, your decisions, and even your emotional resilience to move in that direction. So faith is not abstract. It is biological, measurable, and transformative. Letting this win they left in. Close into scenario, close that how sustain faith through repeated failure. But what about when everything seems to be falling apart? What about the third rejection, the 10th failure, the feeling that nothing is working no matter how hard you try? This is where true faith is tested and where it becomes the most powerful. Here's how to sustain your faith when failure is knocking at your door. Dollar bill job about to fail. However, he hears the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every great inventor, artist, leader has failed, often spectacularly. What made them different is that they refused to let failure define them. They stay safe. Reframe each setback as feedback. Ask, what did I learn? What can I try differently? Growth comes from reflection. 2. Disable out. When you're in the middle of pain, everything feels overwhelming. So, zoom out. Imagine your life as a timeline. Will this failure matter in 1 year? 5 years? Perspective doesn't erase pain, but it puts it in its rightful place. 3. Arbitrarily progress, not perfection. Sometimes we focus so much on what's missing that we forget how far we've come. Keep a faith journal. Write down moments where you chose to keep going. Celebrate the small wins. They matter. 4. Speak to yourself like you would a friend. Self-compassion is critical. When a friend fails, you don't call them worthless. You remind them of their strength. Speak to yourself the same way. 5. Visualize your comeback. Close your eyes and imagine succeeding after the storm. Picture yourself rising, stronger, wiser. Let that image fuel your next step. Remember, faith that only exists when it's easy is just hope, but faith that endures, that's power. Now think about this. How different would your life be if you had just 10% more faith in yourself every day? What could you accomplish if you replaced hesitation with action and fear with faith? Faith is the difference between standing still and stepping forward, between a dream deferred and a destiny realized. Here's the truth. You are more powerful than you think. You have within you the strength to rise, to begin again, and to become. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. So today, let this be your reminder. Even if no one else sees your worth, you must. Even if the world tells you no, you whisper yes. Even if the road is long, each step forward is proof you haven't given up. Because faith is not about perfection, it's about persistence. And sometimes, that faith is all you need to start writing the story you were meant to live. So believe in your fire, have faith in your voice, trust in your future, because the moment you choose faith is the moment your life begins to change. Faith doesn't just help you survive the storm, it's the wings that let you fly above it.